Hey YouTubers, welcome back to another episode of What the Fish. Today I'm going to give you a little tip on how to get your guppies to drop their babies if you breed guppies. Stay tuned.
So I know it's been a while since I've posted a video. I kind of got away from my fish for a while and I am kind of rebooting. This tank has been around pretty much since the beginning for years and years and years. So the reason I'm posting this video today is, as you see, I've got some guppies in here. And I've got one male and started out with two females, and he was chasing the crap out of them. So I added some more. But there is a reason behind this video. So in addition to him chasing the females around like crazy, that girl that you can see kind of hiding behind the plants back there, she was extremely pregnant. So when a guppy's about to give birth, they will square off, and then their gravid spot, which is sort of like the little spot, I don't know if you can see it on the video there, right behind their stomach area where it kind of gets black, that'll start to like break up, almost where you can see the little babies inside there. And usually that means within the next day or so they're going to give birth. Well, what was happening was she was at that point, and it had been like that for, I don't know, maybe a good week. So something that I have learned over my time with guppies, if that happens, because I don't want to see a fish pop, I don't want anything to happen to it that could potentially cause it harm, is I do a small water change with cold water, or very cool water, much cooler than the temperature of the tank. I don't know exactly what it is, but I did that the other day, and the next morning I woke up and I found these guys. And again, it's hard to see because they are only maybe 2 or 3 days old. But you can see every nook and cranny now has baby guppies in them. And this tank at one time was heavily planted. You literally couldn't see from front to back or from side to side in it. I pretty much wiped it out and just kept these guys, my bristlenose plecos, in here. You can see one back there, one under there, and there's another one around in here somewhere. And of course the snails that are kind of perennial. Those suckers never go away. No matter how much I try and get rid of them, they keep coming back. So the reason I made the video was to say, if you have guppies and they are clearly pregnant and they look like they've been pregnant for a while, that gravid spot is swollen, their underside is kind of squared off, they look like they're ready to go, but they don't drop the babies. What I do, like I said, is, even if it's out of my regular schedule, because I try and do a water change on this tank once a week of about, I don't know, 15%, maybe 10-15%, not too much because it's not heavily stocked right now, is to do a small water change, 5-10%, with cold water. And in my experience in the past, and again, now, that will lead to those guys. And yeah, because they're the red orangey babies, they're really hard to see on the yellow rocks. But if you kind of take a look around in the video, you can see they're pretty much everywhere. They are literally, every small crevice in the tank has baby guppies popping out of it. So yeah, so I just wanted to go over that. And then, like I said, in here we also have the bristlenose plecos. I have, those are kind of the opposite. I have 2 males and 1 female. But with the guppies, my suggestion is always to err on the side of too many females. This guy is the only male guppy I have in here right now, and he's just merciless. He chases the females around to no end. So initially I just had a 3-pack of them, 2 females and the 1 male. And I took a couple of my juveniles from another strain of guppies and put them in there. They're the ones with the black tails. And I got a couple new ones just at the pet store, went and grabbed a couple extra females. So now I have about 5 or 6 females to the 1 male. It kind of, you know, relieved some of the stress on the girls, so he wasn't literally chasing them around to no end. But yeah, if you watch him here, you'll see he just kind of latches onto them and hooks on. But since now there's a couple extra females in here, he doesn't focus all of his attention so much on the 1 or 2 that were in there originally. So yeah, so like I said, I just wanted to give you that little tip about getting them to drop the babies if they don't seem to be dropping them fast enough. And another tip, you can see I have the sponge filter on the intake. I don't know if this had anything to do with it, because I don't normally do this, but I have a couple of those sponges, and I don't know, maybe once every couple of months I'll just switch it out. So when I did that small water change with colder water, I actually switched that sponge over too. I actually didn't know how well that would work, because the sponges generally, I mean, you could see the duckweed that's kind of plugged up on. Sorry about that, guys. I ran out of battery right in the middle of a thought. So yeah, I switched these sponge filters out, and I did it about the same time I did that water change, and I was kind of worried that the babies wouldn't have anything to graze on. But as you can see, this tank is not pristine by any stretch. After I took most of the plants out and vacuumed most of the mulch off the top of the substrate, I did leave some stuff for the snails and the bristlenose plecos to kind of graze on. But I was worried after the guppies drop babies that there may not be enough for the babies to graze on. Fortunately for me, the cholla wood over here has some I guess algae and biofilm on it that they seem to be grazing on, and I crush up for the first couple of days after a guppy has babies. I crush up flake food. After a couple of days I just feed them like normal, and the adults will break the flakes apart and the particles are small enough. But I mean, as you can see, these babies are tiny, so you can imagine being that tiny how small their mouths are. So I wanted to make sure that there was something that they could, you know, get inside their mouths so they'll start to grow. That, I think, pretty much covers that tip for today. I am going to try and get back on a regular schedule here, so maybe we can see these guys grow up. And next time I actually do one of those water changes, I'll show you what I mean. This is a 29-gallon tank, so it is not huge. So the water change that I did was only about maybe 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons. And like I said, it spurred the birth. So I would, if anyone has any information on why it is that small water change in the cold water had the effect. I actually heard it from a couple of other YouTube channels where people have guppies. and that's why I tried it, but I don't really know the science behind it. So if anyone knows and they could drop a comment and let me know like the science behind why that works, why they, why the babies tend to, or the parents tend to drop the babies after a small cold water change, I'd really like to know. All right, thanks a lot, guys. We will see you next time.